Most of the time when the internet doesn't work, there's a problem with your Wi-Fi connection. Now, to increase Wi-Fi coverage in your house, you have different options. You can install a second access point, you can install a range extender, a repeater, or even a super advanced Wi-Fi mesh network. We tested the differences in performance of these solutions with several smartphones. Signal strengths and noise levels were measured using professional equipment, and we made marks on the floor to indicate the points where users needed to perform a connectivity test. The testing was done with the application Wi-Fi Sweet Spots, and we measured the average connection bandwidth each time over a 5-second average. Solution 1, a second access point. If you choose the same name and password for your second access point, your devices will connect without a problem. But there's something called the sticky client effect. What we see is that some devices don't let go of the connection to the first access point, even when you are very close to the second access point. In a normal home, you will always have some residual signal strength, so even when you're far from the access point. But when that signal isn't strong enough to provide you with a working internet connection, you are essentially trapped into the access point. Some devices will only switch to another access point after 30 seconds or after a minute. Other devices even require you to turn off the Wi-Fi and turn it on again to regain your connection. Solution 2, a Wi-Fi repeater. A Wi-Fi repeater is essentially a second access point, but it uses the Wi-Fi signal to not only talk to your smartphone, but also to link back to the first access point. Our test clearly shows this. The average bandwidth of the repeater is half the bandwidth of the access point, and the sticky client problem remains in place. Solution 3, integrated Wi-Fi range extender. The range extender we used is using power over Ethernet to link back to the first access point. This means that the Wi-Fi bandwidth isn't sacrificed. Since the Proximus PLC solution we used is integrated with a Proximus B-Box 3 access point, it is also supposed to not drop the connection when you hand over from the access point to the range extender. And we indeed noticed that the IP address remained unchanged, but our lower-end devices still suffered from the sticky client problem. Note that high-end devices like the OnePlus 3 and the Samsung Galaxy S7 didn't suffer from the sticky client problem, and they managed to switch over when the signal from the range extender became stronger than the signal from the access point. Solution 4, a ubiquity mesh network. The very best Wi-Fi solutions are the ones that are used in companies as a corporate network. These networks consist of multiple access points who are coordinated by a central controller. The controller shares the private keys between the access points, so your smartphone only sees one access point and doesn't need to get involved in the handover between the different antennas. One way to look at these kind of solutions is that they are behaving like one big access point with multiple antennas in different locations. The mesh network we tested is the Ubiquiti Unity network. This solution was clearly superior for all the devices we tested. Our low-end and our mid-end devices no longer show the sticky client problem, and they just have a stable connection, even when they are between two access points. The high-end devices also show the stability, but they also show that this mesh network increases the connection speed, with the Samsung Galaxy S7 maxing out at Wi-Fi speeds of 200 megabits per second. Mesh networks are great, but they are made for companies, so they are rather expensive. Tomorrow, Google will launch a Wi-Fi router, which is supposed to have mesh networking capabilities. And I can imagine Google will try to link your router to the ones of your neighbors and thus create one big mesh network. And that would really be a revolution in Wi-Fi networking. It even could mean that telecom operators might have to rethink how they sell and price internet subscriptions when Google tries to link all of these connections through mesh networking. So we don't know if Google will come with their mesh network tomorrow, but in the meanwhile, the conclusion of this test is very simple. If your internet is not stable, it could very well be the Wi-Fi connection. And the best thing to do in that case is to install a mesh networking solution, just like the Ubiquiti Unity one we tested.